Johnny Wrestling or Johnny TakeOver, as my shirt says. And listen, I want you to listen. Like, we're involved right now. It's crazy. It's loud. It's hectic. We're in New York City. But I want you to listen to No Holds Barred Network.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode number 17 of the NXT Podcast right here on the No Holds Barred Network, your source for all WWE, NXT, NXT UK, and AEW coverage. We are live on youtube.com/NHBWR, so make sure you are hitting that subscribe button and the little bell icon for all upload updates and lets you know when we go live right here on youtube.com. If you want to listen to us on the go, you can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Spreaker. Spreaker is a glorious podcast app that is available for all Android and Apple devices. It lets you listen to previous episodes of the podcast and when we go live with our other shows available on the network. So go check it out and follow each one of those platforms and wherever is easier and convenient for you to listen to us. I'm your host, as always, of the NXT Podcast, Kyle Masters, and I'm always joined by my co-host. He is the host that runs the West Coast, Hollywood, Michael Chow.
Hey, I still work here. I was a little bit worried when I came in that Kyle was going to say Mauro Ranallo and Nigel McGuinness were replacing us.
Oh.
Some type of NXT call-up, shake-up? I don't know. Do we still have jobs here? Is someone replacing us?
No, we're still here. They didn't bring up anyone else so suddenly.
Yes.
And forget about us. Because this show is still kind of new. We're only in 17 episodes in for this show, at least.
But
no.
when our ratings start tanking, they're going to start bringing the NXT guys, right?
Probably. Or they might bring the retro guys in to replace us, Cause
oh, no! What?
A Cassius Ohno?
Wait.
No?
What? Don't we have a shakeup coming after WrestleMania? All right? What?
I don't know, but there's been a shakeup this week. It's a packed full load of NXT this week, and I was tweeting out a little bit to you guys, especially during Raw and SmackDown this week. This episode was going to be good because we'll save it for the end. And that's where you want to stick around, or if you want to tune back in later on and wait for the end. The end, me and Michael have some things to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we had the NXT call-ups of Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Aleister Black, and Ricochet this week on the main roster. I got some things to say.
Let's save it for the end.
We'll save it for the end. But guys,
it's
welcome.
The main attraction, man. It's gonna be yikes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just pre-warning everybody here. We've actually named this part of the show, and it's gonna debut today, called Rant City. And definitely going to get a theme song or a clip for that for this show. But as you guys, speaking of clips, you saw the brand new glorious intro here on youtube.com. If you didn't, you heard basically the remix of our theme. But we have a new intro video because now we're going to be mostly on YouTube Live. So I've decided that the next podcast will be featured on YouTube Live first whenever we are live. And then it'll all transition over to the other platforms from now on. There might be some podcasts in the future. We might just do Spreaker. It all depends. But again, you're going to still want to make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube account and hitting the bell icon to let you know when we're going to go live. I will tweet out when we're going to go live, but that lets you know that I'll schedule the podcast ahead of time, so you'll get the notification that we'll be live at a certain time, that point in the day. I try to aim stuff for Saturday. If stuff with our schedules don't work out, it might be earlier in the week, but it looks like Saturday is a pretty good day for me and Michael. But guys, if you're new to the show, this is the NXT Podcast from the No Holds Barred Network. We talk about mostly NXT. Then we also go over the main roster a little bit for you guys as well, if you're a fan of the main roster, which I have some things to say about that as well. But you can follow myself. Look at the top here, at Real Kyle Masters on Twitter. You can follow Michael Chow at the top of his picture right there, at Michael Chow TV on Twitter as well. But yeah, if you're new to the podcast, this is where we talk, we discuss things like that. We do pay-per-view predictions. We do pay-per-view reviews like we are going to do today. We're going to do a quick Elimination Chamber review. Michael scored a 6 out of 7 this week, so I'll give you a round of applause for that, Michael. I scored a glorious score of 2 out of 7 with my outlandish picks didn't work. Actually, I didn't do outlandish picks. I went with what I thought WWE was going to do. And WWE decided to go outside the box. Ooh. Like
we're in a new era now, bro. AEW effect, man.
That's what I mean. Like I said,
WWE
in
anymore.
predictions, they know this AEW. Speaking of AEW, there's an AEW podcast available on the network, which myself and Tiffany, who's in the chat right now under the Dadass Podcast alias, we do a AEW podcast that's been really taken off. So if you guys enjoying what's going on and what is transitioning into this new wrestling brand of AEW, we go over news and rumors and anything that ties in with AEW on that show. So we have basically the network has a bit of everything for you guys. And speaking of, I'll transition it for you guys on the screen. The No Holds Barred Network is your #1 source for wrestling podcast content, featuring this show and yours truly, myself and Michael, on the next podcast. You can see the Lowdown Show Retro, which is a retro-based podcast going over old school Raw episodes from the Attitude Era and the Glory years, also going over old pay-per-view reviews as well. You have the All Elite podcast, which myself and Tiffany are a part of, and you also have Near Fall News UK whenever he decides to drop in for a podcast. He covers the UK wrestling-based of the wrestling world, and he also goes over NXT UK. So you're going to want to follow the No Holds Barred Network for free. That's right, for free. No subscription needed for the No Holds Barred Network. It is yours free to have. All you have to do is follow it on Twitter at NHB Network, and you can have everything you see there on screen as you just heard. Also, go check out ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. They specialize in pro wrestling and MMA apparel with over 50,000 t-shirts, sweatshirts, costumes, DVDs, and pendants in stock. They're your official sponsor of the No Holds Barred Network, and you can use promo code NOHOLDS at checkout, and you're going to save yourself 10%. Yes, a sadly perfect 10% with the release of Ty Dillinger. It's going to be sad to be saying that in the future, but guess what? One lucky fan per month that uses that code, you're going to get a free gift with your order from ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. So you're going to want to go over to that website and use the code to save 10% and possibly getting a free gift. So go check out the official sponsor of the No Holds Barred Network, ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. So, yes, Michael, as I said before, we'll do our little quick chamber review later on, but we're going to start off with the A-Brand NXT review this week.
Oh, wait, so Mondays?
No.
Tuesdays?
No. I know you might have been confused this week, but
Yeah.
NXT actually wasn't on Monday and Tuesday. I know, like, their main stars, the people that have been, putting NXT on their backs the last 2 years, were on Monday and Tuesday this week.
Wait. Are you sure? Because I saw Ricochet take on Eric Young. I saw Aleister take on Andrade. All NXT stars.
I knew you were going to be confused. I knew it, Michael. It's okay. Let's hold on a second. It was Wednesday. NXT, the regular show, was Wednesday. Yes. I thought for sure for a second they canceled Raw and SmackDown, but they didn't. Believe it or not, they didn't. There's a small glimpse of hope. They canceled both, but no.
Let me just make sure, because I went on social media and people said that this week's Raw and SmackDown were great, and they said NXT. Are you sure?
I am 150% positive.
All right. Vince is still running the show, right? Did he pass away and no one said anything? Did he get in the limo and exploded again? And Triple H's like, NXT, come on down.
I don't think he should be, but I'll get into that later. Nope. He was still there. But we'll get into that later as well. I have something to talk about that. And I have some news about Triple H and Vince McMahon and what happened backstage. But no, NXT was on its regular time Wednesday and was highlighted. Actually, before we get into NXT, totally forgot. You guys might have noticed we like to bring in a lot of comedy aspects of the show. That's what we are going to mainly focus on. With the show is bringing some comedy factor to get you guys excited, get you guys enjoying the show. Because that's what you have to do in this world, Michael. We can't be the same generic, formulaic garbage like Raw does every week type of podcast. We got to be different from the others. We got to be out there. We got to be, what's the word I'm looking for? We got to be
Vince McMahon Entertainment.
No,
comedy, right?
That's not entertainment. No, that's the same formula. It's the same show. It's like it's like the amusement park up here. You guys, I don't know if anyone's heard of it, but the amusement park up here that's been here forever for like the last 80 years called Marineland. That place has literally not changed in 50 years. They literally have the same rides, the same animals, and the same exact places, and the same everything. Nothing's changed. That's Vince McMahon entertainment. Vince McMahon would love that. No. We want to be different. We like NXT. We adapt. We don't perish. We adapt with the times, and we move forward. So we're going to be different. We're going to bring some comedy for you guys. We want to interact with you, fans out there. And with that, I have a brand new segment for you guys. I don't have a graphic. I'm going to make the graphic soon. But this segment is called Ya Blew It.
Ooh.
This is Johnny Ra-
Oops.
You blew it!
I already blew it there. I kind of played the wrong theme at first, so I blew it in that instinct. So this part of the show, guys, is gonna be.
I thought you did it on purpose to sell the new part of our show.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. That's what I did. We're gonna
I
go
was
with that.
about to
I
say,
didn't blow
wow,
it.
that's
I didn't
pretty
blow
good. Like, wow, Kyle's going all out to sell this new part of our show, but no. Oh.
No. So basically, guys, this part of the show is gonna be where I re-listen to the podcast after it's all done. Any part of the show last week that we blew it, and I'm gonna get a thing where it's gonna say "yeah, blew it" every time I say the part. I go over what part we blew it on and correct ourselves for next week. I seen a sports show do it here in Canada, and I love the way they do it. They bring a comedy aspect to it, which is funny. So last week, I actually said the Revival was tweeting at the Young Bucks. That is not true. I blew it there. They were never tweeting at the Young Bucks. I don't know why I said that. But I was saying that that the Revival were tweeting at the Young Bucks and they were on the verge of leaving. I'm like, they never tweeted at the Young Bucks. Not sure why I said that, but I blew it. Last week, I couldn't pronounce the name Dominic Dijakovic. That's exactly how you say it, by the way. Dominic Dijakovic.
Hey.
Yeah. I couldn't pronounce it last week. It took me literally all show I couldn't pronounce it. I started calling him Double D's, so I blew it there. Michael, you blew it last week.
What?
You said I don't want to jump the shark. It's actually the saying is jump the ship.
Oh, no, actually, that's not true. There is a saying here in the States where it's called jumping the shark.
I've never heard that before.
Well, okay, so people in the live chat, have you guys heard of jump the shark? And there's actually a history behind it. Would you like to hear it? It's actually in a way kind of interesting. So jumping the shark has to do with TV. And have you heard of the TV show Happy Days?
Yes.
Yeah, it has like Fonzie and
I didn't really watch it, but like I knew of it.
Yeah. So it actually comes from that show because
really?
Yeah. So as the seasons go on, like most TV shows, right? Mm-hmm. The writers kind of like Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. The writing was not good, and it was coming close to cancellation. What they did on Happy Days was they had an episode where Fonzie, the guy who goes "Hey," who wears the leather jackets.
Yeah.
The main storyline for that episode was Fonzie was going to go jet skiing. Not jet skiing. You know the thing on – what's that thing? The water skiing?
Oh,
he was going to water ski, and he was going to jump over sharks. That was going to be the episode. And the fans were like, what the hell is this? This is the worst thing ever. I can't believe Fonzie, who, by the way, was wearing a leather jacket when he jumped over all of the sharks. And they now use that as a term of saying any time where a show – does something incredibly stupid, has lost its way, and is going from good to just absolutely shit, they use the term jump the shark. But hey, I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure that's what I got from.
I've never heard of that. I've only listened to hear jump the ship. But hey, maybe I just blew it there.
Maybe it's a Canada.
I blew it saying you blew it.
No, maybe it's a Canada thing. Everyone in the live chat, if you live in the States, have you heard of jump the shark?
Well, I've seen that Tila said she's heard of it, which I'm like, okay, maybe is it a California thing?
Well, no, I mean, it's a pretty popular American, because, you know, like Canada, you guys have Marineland. We have Marine World. I'm not saying it's best. I'm not saying it's bigger, but, you know.
It could be better. The one up here, shit.
Yeah, Disneyland, Disney World, so I assume Marine World is better, but, you know. You guys have, I don't know what y'all got in Canada. Snow, polar bears. This is me being stereotypical, by the way.
So. Oh, yeah, it's true. Don't even worry, Michael. I've heard it all. I've been to Florida before, and the waitress I had literally thought we lived like it was igloos and snow everywhere. Right? Like she actually was legit, like serious. She's like, "Oh my God, where aren't you guys like? Where's your winter jacket?" Like she was serious. I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with this lady? Is this lady does she not like oh man, get yourself educated, lady, please."
Who's looking after your polar bear while you're on vacation?
Right.
Do you know Justin Bieber?
I got a babysitter or a polar bear sitter for my week in Florida. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's gonna be another comedy aspect we're gonna add to the show. We'll work on it, but it was a good semi debut. It was all right. But now let's get into the NXT, the A show in our minds, the main focal point of this podcast. And this week's episode is highlighted by the North American Championship. And I even said it last week that I heard this week's episode was a need-to-watch episode. And yes, what we got at the end of the episode, damn, it threw me in a loop. I was not expecting what we got at the end. And we started out strong. They opened the show up with Aleister Black versus Roderick Strong. I totally forgot that these guys are actually having a match. Very interesting start to NXT. That's very different. Usually it's like something minor or there's like a segment or, it's a match that, oh, yeah, these two guys are still in NXT. It's usually the type of spot they use for certain wrestlers because they don't feature everyone every week, and that's the good thing about NXT. This is the spot where they will feature someone 1 week and then 3 weeks later they'll start off NXT. But this was pretty good. I loved Aleister Black and Roderick Strong going at it with each other. It was odd the commentaries talking about Aleister Black and him pursuing the NXT title in the same week what we just got in the main roster. Because it didn't click, like it didn't go together. Just the way they were commentating, the way the commentaries were, you can tell the inputted ones throughout the show, and you can tell the live ones, it didn't click together. So I was like, that's very, very, like, not even just awkward. But I mean, no one knew about the calls until 2 hours before the show this week anyways. So, like, this was not a long-planned thing. So they taped these weeks ago, a week or two ago. So no one knew that these guys were even going to be on Raw and SmackDown this week, that time that they did these tapings. So
there were a lot of rewrites this week, literally until the last minute, which you'll probably talk about Triple H and Vince McMahon butting heads on what he wanted to go down this week. And one thing that was kind of weird, and I hate because we're going to talk about this later, but just real quick. So we had Johnny Gargano on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown this week holding the North American Championship title. But the thing about this is, for those of you who watch NXT this week, it's pre-taped. He lost that title to Velveteen Dream a while ago. So that means Velveteen Dream had to give him the title belt so he could appear on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown as though he was still champion.
I'm like,
right? So,
and I didn't know until then, because like I just found out when I watched this week's episode that I'm going, oh, wait a minute, what? That's what threw me in a loop. But anyways, Ronaldo mentioning that actually Aleister Black this past TakeOver was his first loss at a TakeOver event in 8 TakeOvers. Can you believe that? In 8 TakeOvers, he's lost once.
Wait, is that right? Did you say Aleister Black?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said Aleister Black. Cause I don't know if it was because Roderick Strong's lost more than once, right? Unless he was.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, well, because I thought Aleister Black.
He said this. He said Ronaldo said mentioning that Black lost his first TakeOver event in 8 TakeOvers this past TakeOver. Because I can't remember the last time he lost.
No, well, I can remember the last time he lost, but just not at a take. I don't think he's lost at a TakeOver because Ronaldo, you blew it.
Maybe we'll have to fact check that.
We'll have to fact check that.
Anyways, it was a decent match, actually. Strong basically showing why he was the messiah of the backbreaker with all his innovative back-breaking maneuvers. Man, the guy is literally, that's his thing. He finds different ways to pull off a backbreaker, and he works on your back. That's his strategy going into every match, and that's why he's called the messiah of the backbreaker, and obviously his finishing move. Eventually, Black escapes a suplex. There's a bunch of near falls in the end. Black escapes a suplex and hits literally Black Mass out of nowhere. It's literally like turned into the RKO out of nowhere. Now it's the Black Mass out of nowhere. Hits it for the win. This is not the end of it, though. Undisputed Era starts running out. They come out and attack Aleister Black just like that loud bang. It came out, bang, out of the back. Sorry, Michael. Just all I hear is a bang. I'm like, yeah.
You blew it.
That was perfect timing.
No, that was good.
O'Reilly is The best part when Undisputed Era comes out, so it's O'Reilly first. As soon as he jumps in the ring, it's like a quick Royal Rumble elimination. He gets black masked right away, and his cell when he went through the middle rope and then down to the ground. That was the best part. Kyle O'Reilly sold that.
That was like a rock just sinking to the bottom of the ocean. He like sold it so well. Oh my gosh, that was so great, so good.
Oh, it was so good. And then Ricochet comes out for the save as the other members of Undisputed Era are beating the shit out of Aleister Black. Black and Ricochet looking good together.
Mm-hmm.
Is this foreshadowing something?
I must say, due to social media, I actually do know where this is going, but I will not say anything. It's
leading your social media, man.
Hey, I need to delete some people off my Twitter. What is your problem?
Trust me, I do too. I always forget
because
I see it and I don't want to keep reading it, so I scroll down right away and I forget that I have to go in and like delete them. Delete them.
I can at least tell you this much: it's going towards something big and very interesting.
Which they announce. They announce in this show. Trust me, I've already seen it, Michael. I've seen.
Oh, okay.
I've seen the picture of the full. We'll get to it. Anyways,
I also think. The thing that we can't say where it's leading to, I think the whole call-up thing is coming into play because where these guys are headed next, it really does seem like they will be called up permanently very soon.
Yeah. What we got next was interesting, but it did make sense. Oops. Oh, I transitioned the YouTube thing to a black screen for some reason. Sorry. I blew it there. I'm gonna bring it up next week. I blew it. Anyways.
Are you purposely setting this up?
No, I'm not.
Be honest.
I'm not.
Setup, guys, is all,
I'm just trying to keep the show, better than Monday Night Raw.
You can't fool me. You and Brian can't fool me again with your fake feuds, all right? So I know you set this up. You're setting this up.
I didn't say anything. Anyways, what we got here was weird-ish in a way. I was trying to figure out what was going on, but then it kind of played into what happened later on in the night. But we had like a performance center kind of backstage kind of thing. It was what's her name? It was Ellering's daughter and the one trainer for NXT, the woman trainer. I think it was Sarah. I think her name is.
Oh yeah, Mrs. Cesaro Wrestling, Sarah Amato. Currently dating Cesaro. Fun fact, guys. So yeah.
Anyway, so they're talking about like just introducing Ellering's daughter into it, and they hear like this arguing in the back. And, like, there's this back locker room where all the NXT, and Mia Yim's part of it, all the NXT Performance Center ladies that are training. And then it's basically the three horsewomen getting in there and basically telling them that we run the locker room. And then they get escorted out. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, at this point of the show, I'm like, what the fuck was that for? I mean, I know it played into what happens later, but I'm like, what the fuck was this?
So this was very undersold because I actually read about this a couple of weeks ago, and the tagline on Twitter was Shayna Baszler and Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke attack the women's locker room. They said attack, so I'm like, all right, they're jumping people in the locker room, right? I see it this week. All they did was yell. It was broken up. I was like, oh, well, this kind of sucked.
That was very anticlimactic. Like, I don't know what the fuck was that. Like, Michael, I'm sitting there going, okay, like, she's still sour grapes about the whole, like, not having the title anymore? Like, what's going on?
I had a huge rant last week. Losing
to Io Shirai, not losing the title.
Yeah, if anything, why don't you attack her? I don't get it. You got pinned by her. Shouldn't you be attacking her? But all of a sudden, like I ranted about last week. Last week, they went out and attacked D-list superstars. No offense to those girls and your girl. But and then this week, they had a shouting match in the locker room. And the fact that Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir have lost every single match they've been in. Guys, I mean, how are you building up this team? They're not having the 4 horsemen women match. These two, Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir, they can't do it. All right? The way they're building them up, it's not good. It's not good. I'd rather not see this match. So... See, they should have had Bianca Belair lose by DQ. They should have had, oh my gosh, totally blanking. What's Shayna Baszler lock in the Kirifuda clutch and never let go, and then what she would have won by disqualification, and she still would have been technically undefeated.
Yeah.
She can say I'm undefeated on TV. That still works. But I'm not liking. I mean, you can you accept it, but I'm not liking.
I just have to accept it. It's better than what the main roster would give us. The main roster would give us something without any explanation. She's giving us an explanation as to why she's still living that undefeated lifestyle. She talks about not getting herself down, and it's going to keep her motivated towards getting back in the title picture. And she's good. She's claiming that the referee was the reason why in TakeOver, that she was in the way. It's fitting her heel persona. And then she talks about Zayn and Shirai going on saying they deserve, or at least Shirai getting a title shot because they pinned Shayna Baszler. And basically she's telling them they're going to have to wait until she gets the title to want a shot at it. So, you know what? This was interesting because they even showed that Bianca did her finisher, and then it was Io that tagged herself in to do her finisher to get the win. So, in a way, Bianca Belair has a point.
This would be good if she was going back to heel, right? It'd be good if this was kind of a storyline where she's kind of like crazy in the head, like she thinks she's still undefeated and that she's kind of going a little bit, she's kind of losing it, which would be kind of good. And then what happened with Io Shirai taking her pin, it could be a little bit in the head for her even more. You know what I mean? So she's a little bit messed up in the head. She thinks she's still undefeated, but this will go toward her kind of crazy heel character, which I think she should kind of do. She'd go back to being heel.
Yeah. I think she's going to. I think that's what it is. But
I think so.
We got into the breaking news. Breaking news, and I was right. That's all I'm going to say. I was right. I knew this was leading to this. The breaking news of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I wish I could play the theme right now. I'm going to get that theme going. It was announced, and it's going to start in 2 weeks. They have the 4 teams announced. I'll transition it on the screen for you guys. This is what we saw this week at NXT of the 4 teams announced. We have the Undisputed Era of Bobby Fish and O'Reilly back together. We got the Forgotten Sons. They're not forgotten. They were picked for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. You know what would have made sense, though? If they literally did include them and then they had them go up to them and go, what, you forgot us? Like, because we're the Forgotten Sons, you have to forget about us? I think they could have made something there. But we got Eichner and Barthel and Bartel. I don't know if the H is silent or not. And then the Street Profits. So these are the 4 announced teams of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. There was a leaked image of all of the next 4, but it was announced this week. The next 4 will be announced next week, so I won't include the graphic just for spoiler reasons. We'll look at the graphic in bigger once next week when they announce it, but I did see it. Someone leaked it. Interesting. If it's interesting, the graphic that was leaked of how it was set up with the teams facing each other, it was interesting. It made you think a lot about who was going to win and get your heads into like, okay, is this person going to face this person, or could these guys go in because of this reason? So we'll get into that next week when they do announce the next 4 teams. But it's back. Dusty Rhodes Classic.
It's back. I think this is gonna start being an annual thing where the finals take place at WrestleMania. So it's good. It's a good concept. For those of you who watch 205 Live, they're bringing back the Cruiserweight tournament where the winner's going to face the Buddy Murphy at WrestleMania. So I like these tournament sets up. King of the Ring is one of my favorite pay-per-views. Yeah, so
sweet.
Drake Maverick announced this week on 205 Live. I forgot which matches were going to be next week, but they are saying there's going to be a Cruiserweight tournament. Winner faces Buddy Murphy at WrestleMania. So
interesting. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So we moved on here. We had a women's match between Mia Yim and Xia Li. I think I'm saying that right, unless I blew it there. Xia Li being touted as the first Chinese woman to compete in the WWE, which is really huge for her. And her debut was at the Royal Rumble, so what a way to debut in the WWE as the first Chinese woman in the Royal Rumble match. She had a pretty good showing in the Rumble, which is pretty good. This is a very good back-and-forth type of matchup, I thought, this week with Mia Yim and Xia Li. It was a little bit of a slow grappling kind of start because both of these women are known for their striking, but then that kind of transitioned into the hard striking eventually. Mia Yim hits her interesting finisher. It's different because it's almost, if anyone remembers Xavier Woods' original finisher, the Eat the Feet.
Enzo too.
And Enzo. So it's kind of like that, but she does it to the side of the head instead, and she does it in a way that actually looks pretty intense. So she hits that. She gets the win over Xia Li in her NXT debut. And then here come the crybabies. Here comes the 3 horsewomen come down and start attacking me. And this is where earlier it played into that. So they're attacking Mia Yim, and then all the new trainees that were in that locker room that were getting told by the crybabies. I'm calling them the 3 crybabies. And they came out for the save, but wasn't really much of a save.
D-list, bro.
Yeah, they tried and failed.
By the way, there was one woman who came out, and I swear to God, I thought it was Nikki Bella. I'm like, what the hell is Nikki Bella doing out here? Is that what she's doing now? But it turned out to be Mae Young Classic Jessie, oh my God, what, Esteban?
Yeah.
She wears these glasses. She's on YouTuber, but yeah. I was like, what is Nikki doing out here? Oh, well, but yeah.
So they tried, they failed. And
They tried.
The 3 horse babies in the ring looking pissed off. Like, why is she so mad? Like, she's just very angry right now because I think it's the loss is driving her nuts. Her loss to Io Shirai is literally driving her insane. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting.
But they attack.
Going.
They attack everyone except for that team. They haven't double teamed Io Shirai. They haven't attacked Kairi Sane. They haven't attacked Bianca Belair. All these D-listers. They couldn't get Candice LeRae. They couldn't get other credible wrestlers. I'm sorry. Maybe they're slowly building up. Maybe next.
But that's what heels do. They take the cheap way out, right? They go for the weaker to try to make themselves feel stronger. Like that's what bullies do. That's what bullies do. They're bullies. They're bullies.
Yeah. Alexa Bliss was a bully to Nia Jax. You know.
Nia Jax isn't the weaker one here in that case.
Verbally, she's the weakest one, but it's cool now.
Yeah.
Nia Jax is now heel, so forget the whole anti-bullying angle.
And they're on and off best friends, so
on and off,
because that makes sense. Anyways, we had a backstage thing with Johnny Gargano, and Candice LeRae was with it. This was very interesting. So Johnny said, basically, she says, like, do you know what you have to do? And Johnny's like, yeah, I know what I have to do. And then Ciampa comes walking in the background. She's like, what are you doing here? And Ciampa comes in and says, if you need me, I'm here for you. And then Johnny kind of like transitions out of it and says, I won this title on my own, and I can win it back on my own, or I can defend it on my own. I have everything I need right here, as he looks at Candice. So I'm like, it's like he's this type of Johnny when he's around Candice to snap out of it, but when Candice is not around, he's like back to the dark side of Johnny, like the DIY. Like the type of wrestler to be on the dark side, be like a Ciampa. So it's almost like she's a saving grace.
I was a little bit confused. I mean, they looked like they were BFFs on Monday and Tuesday, right? Because they were tagging each other. And by the way, the commentators kept plugging them as DIY. They didn't say Ciampa and Gargano. They said, "Oh, DIY this, DIY that." I was like, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I have something to say about that too. Don't you worry, Michael.
Yeah.
So we had a Matt Riddle kind of like backstage. It was a clip basically from his YouTube interview with, I can't remember the guy's name. I guess the guy is tied into MMA. They got some guy to interview him. They talk about his arrival in NXT, and the guy asked him like, for your arrival in NXT with your hat and flip-flops, do you think that was the right way to go? Like, do you think, is it that she doesn't show a level of professionalism? Like, do you think they saw that as something like, oh, maybe we shouldn't push this guy? Like, they're asking pretty serious questions. And then this is what I liked about this whole interview. It was like, it wasn't character-wise. Like, this was like exactly how Matt Riddle is. And he says he'd rather be someone that gets told to tone it down than get told to tone it up. So that's a pretty interesting way to look at it. They highlight his feud with Cassius Ohno, and then he says, after I take care of him now, or I haven't taken care of him now, I only have one goal in my mind, and that is the NXT Championship or the North American Championship. Bottom line, he's got gold on his minds, and he will get his hands on it very soon. So Matt Riddle making claim that he's coming for gold in 2019. So I think he's going to play a huge part in whatever title he goes towards for 2019. So expect some big things out of Matt Riddle.
I actually have a huge prediction since we might as well say we are not doing what's next, who's next today, because we got a lot to talk about at the end. But with the certain wave of the main roster taking forward the best NXT superstars, and I feel like they're moving up very, very soon, I feel that Tommaso Ciampa is going to drop the title to Matt Riddle at NXT TakeOver New York. Because Because I'm like looking at who else. Number one, who else
Okay.
is Ciampa gonna face? And number two, if it's true and Vince is taking forward the best NXT superstars we saw this week up to the main roster soon, there's no one else who I believe
Could he
is going
drop
to
it
take that
before
up.
TakeOver?
That is also true. I mean, with Aleister Black, he dropped the title on TV.
Could there be
happen,
a surprise title match coming up in the tapings? We never know. We'll have to see. And I hope not, because I really want to get going and deleting these people that are spoiling everything, because I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Like, I hate the one thing I hate. It's NXT is not live. I wish it was live every week. That would make it so much better.
It should be, but.
So we had just before the main event, we have announced next week Shayna Baszler will take on Mia Yim 1-on-1. But it's obvious, and they say it in the commentary that Shayna's gonna have her goons with her. So maybe this is where Kari and Io Shirai come out, maybe with Mia Yim for backup, or maybe they come eventually near the end of the match after they help Shayna win. So maybe that's where we're gonna finally see them. Or maybe interesting, maybe like a Bianca Belair. Something's gonna happen there with that match next week. So we end the main event, the North American Championship. Boy, this really shocked the hell out of me at the end of this match. But oh my god! So Tommaso Ciampa is like watching from like the Sting press box up in the rafters there. It's what it looks like. Is he watching a TV screen, or is he watching from is there a press box up there? I don't know, because I don't know how Full Sail's laid out. Like, is that actually, because it was so hard to tell with the way they did that. But he's like in this dark, like Sting-esque press box up there. It was actually a really, really good match. Very good match we got for an NXT episode. Main roster, if you want to know how to produce a good main event match, you fucking follow formula for this match. This was amazing. This is reaching TakeOver level type match. I think these two would have enough in them to go to that TakeOver level, but again, they can't really do that all the time on NXT. You have to save those for. That's what makes TakeOver so special, because those matches are known with TakeOver. And I can't wait. I went and looked. So it's April. Can't believe I have to wait. So you know that DVD they keep advertising, best of NXT TakeOvers 2018. I can't order it till April 2nd. I don't know if it's different in the States, but I went on Amazon. It says you can pre-order it now, but it gets released on April 2nd. So I'm like, oh, I got to wait that long for this DVD, because basically almost every TakeOver last year was amazing. So it's a 2-disc set with all the great NXT TakeOver matches from last year. I went and looked at it, and I'm like, damn, I need this DVD. So, and guess what? Gargano was part of almost all of them. Shocker.
He was?
So yeah, they can do a TakeOver level match. They toned it down a little bit, but this was still a really good match. Dream basically taking advantage for them the beginning of the match with those, like, that massive slap to the face to Johnny Gargano that really shook him. Johnny eventually finds his momentum back. Very good rest of the match. A lot of back and forth stuff. Unreal ending, man. The near falls in this match and the way they did everything and executed every move it just made your eyes glued to the screen. You couldn't turn away because you were going to miss something. And that's what they do in NXT, and that's what they do different than the main roster. Main roster, you can turn away and not miss a goddamn thing. If you turned away at any point near the end of this match, you would miss everything. Like, this was so well done. Johnny's amazing string of moves that led to his finishing move at the end there. And somehow Velveteen Dream kicked out. Even the crowd at that point, as soon as he kicked out, everyone thought that was the end. And he does a signature pin where he sits on you and lifts the one leg up. Everyone's like, this is over. When Velveteen kicked out, if you look into the crowd, everyone did this. Like, their eyes were wide, their jaws were dropped. They could not believe that Velveteen Dream kicked out. And then the standing ovation. And from a little bit before that, it was like 5 minutes before that, from that point to the end of the match, no one was sitting down. When can you tell me the last time on a Raw or SmackDown where for the last 10 minutes of a match, everyone was standing up and not sitting down?
I know a time, but it's because they were standing up to leave, basically. Like, man, this main roster sucks. I'm freaking out of here. Pew, 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 pew. Vince, pew, 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 pew. Every bull is an NXT superstar going to be here next week, by the way. He goes, NXT, pew, 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 pew. This is Vince. Monday Night Raw SmackDown, this is him with his NXT gun. Pew, 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 pew. NXT, pew, 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 pew.
Jesus.
Until they get pale and they just
But seriously, like, the last 10 minutes of this match, the whole crowd was standing on their feet, and they could not they couldn't sit because of how good the match was and how invested they were and how glued you were to the match. That's what makes NXT good. The people that call us NXT dick riders, this is why. Because we get good wrestling and shit we actually enjoy instead of watching the main product and saying, oh, you know what, I'm going to turn it off and catch the replays. Or, you know what, I'll DVR it. I have better shit to do. We don't do that in NXT.
I guess you could say what happened here on Monday Night Raw on SmackDown. I guess you could say that Vince McMahon is sucking the NXT dick, and I quote.
Ooh. We'll get to that. Pew, another shot. Anyways, so yeah, Velveteen Dream kicks out of that. Dream eventually reverses a move that Gargano was attempting after he tried to do the DIY finisher. He hits 2 consecutive Dream Valley drivers, okay? Not just one, but he's able to transition it while still holding on to Johnny into another one, gets to the top rope, hits the Purple Rainmaker, and no! Unbelievable. Velveteen Dream is your new North American champion, and I, like everyone else in Full Sail, was like, no. Like my mouth was open for a good, Michael, I kid you not, 30 seconds, and going, oh my God, really? I'm like, I knew something big was gonna happen. I thought for sure what was going through my mind, because I didn't see the spoilers, was someone was gonna interfere. Like there's gonna be this massive interference by Ciampa that was gonna lead to something. Like it was gonna lead. Like I was waiting for something like that to happen, because I saw Ciampa in the rafters. I'm like, okay, he's gonna make his way down. There's gonna be some sort of confrontation. I thought something was like that was gonna happen. But for Velveteen Dream to win clean on an episode of NXT, the North American Championship, wow. Oh, my God. What a way to end the show. I'm just going like, man, what? Like, I don't know what to think. Like, I don't know what to think.
And this is a young guy, by the way. I'm actually looking up his age right now. How old is he? Like 23, 22?
People were like wondering about why Velveteen Dream wasn't called up right away. Guys, this guy is so young. He's got ages ahead of him to go. Why would you want to call him up right now? Why not keep him in NXT to grow even bigger and to become like massive, probably one of the biggest stars NXT has ever had, and then bring him up to main roster where he'll get known at that point because of how much traction he's going to get in NXT. And when you call him up, you push him in the main event right away, and he's your instant next superstar, because Vince McMahon apparently says there is no superstars right now in the WWE. So let's just keep it at that.
I'll get it to at the end. Let's continue.
My God, that ending of NXT, interesting. Very, very interesting. A lot of people would argue that you should save a takeover or that should be saved for a takeover for Velveteen Dream for a title. I think this is a perfect place for him to win it, because this guy's, again, he's young. He's going to have a whole career ahead of him. There's going to be plenty of opportunity for him to win a title at TakeOver, and I think the main thing you should do with that is the NXT Championship. His NXT Championship win will be at a TakeOver. I don't think it'll be on a main show. But this really threw me in a loop going home. This got me thinking of, like, what's going to happen now? What are the scenarios going to be done from now? Because they just debuted Gargano with the title belt this week. Did they just do it for the fact because the takeovers are taped beforehand? Or sorry, NXT tapes are taped beforehand. Like it gets me thinking. I can't think of anything right now. I have to it's still processing with me. It's been a couple days now, and I'm still processing it.
We'll talk more about this at the end, but I just want to say, by them jumping the ship and bringing up these 4 guys, it spoils a lot. It spoils a lot for NXT TakeOver New York, because I feel like if Johnny Gargano gets a rematch against The Dream at NXT TakeOver New York, I know he's not going to win because he's going to get called up. And Tommaso Ciampa, I feel like he's going to guarantee drop the title because he's going to get called up.
But again, this gets me thinking. This is probably that they're not going in that direction. NXT still has 2 sets of tapings to do before WrestleMania. Or at least, no, 1 more set of taping to do before WrestleMania, which is the month of March, which I think they're doing right now for the month of March. So something's got to happen throughout these next set of tapings to create Velveteen Dream's next opponent his opponent for NXT TakeOver New York. To me, if I can think of a scenario right off the bat, I don't think it's going to be Gargano. because NXT is not known for, and they kind of want to cut that out, the whole rematch clause. So it won't be Gargano, and if he does, they might do it on an episode of NXT. Like, it'll be like a quick thing. But I think our Velveteen Dream is gonna. All I can see is maybe Matt Riddle. Maybe it's Matt Riddle.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's Matt Riddle, Velveteen Dream. That would be an insane match.
You see, this is why I believe that they should make the Superstar Shakeup, which is already scheduled for a week after WrestleMania. It should, since they call it the International because it's in Canada, they should be like, it's called International because it's going to be a 3-way brand shakeup. They should send people from Raw and SmackDown over to NXT, and then you could. You don't.
I'll get into that at the end. That's part of my rant that NXT has to stop being labeled as a development brand and under brand. It has to stop being known as, okay, you can only go from NXT to up. You can't go from up to down. That shouldn't be. They should all be the same level. At this point right now, NXT should be known as the third brand. Bottom line.
Bottom line, because they're calling up way too many superstars. And when you're calling up way too many superstars, you get people who are already on Raw and SmackDown who are basically doing nothing, and you have no choice but to release them. And we're going to get to the releases later on.
I have an analogy with that, Michael, and you're going to love it when I get into my rant. There's an analogy I have with that, and you're going to love it. You're going to agree full-heartedly of how I'm going to put this into a way you're going to understand. But anyways, insane end to NXT. Get to thinking about what's going to happen now. You have the Dusty Rhodes Classic coming up with the who's going to face the War Raiders at NXT TakeOver New York, which I think this Blacklist thing is weird because I don't think it's going to be called Blacklist because Mar mentioned it this week. It's called NXT TakeOver New York. I don't know if anyone caught that. He said NXT TakeOver New York. So it's not Brooklyn, even though it is in Brooklyn. It's NXT TakeOver New York. The Brooklyn name, I'm assuming, is going to be associated with Triple H, and why he wants to keep that separate from everything else. That's going to be his big show. So it's just that it looks like this year's we're going to have to skip it. This year's going to be a skipped, Brooklyn, unless that's ending, because it's just weird how SummerSlam now is in Toronto this year. They didn't pick like another pay-per-view to be in Toronto. It's weird how all of a sudden now they've done Brooklyn for X amount of years. Now all of a sudden it's going to Toronto. Like what? Like why? What's the reason behind this? So we'll see what happens. But I can see a Velveteen Dream, Matt Riddle. I can see maybe an Adam Cole gets another shot at it, or a Roderick Strong. Someone gets another shot at Velveteen Dream here. But my guess is Gargano and Ciampa. The end-all match is going to happen at TakeOver New York.
I think
my gut is pointing towards that.
I think last week you also predicted a ladder match too. They're going to bring back the ladder match from last year and
That's
put
right.
like a whole bunch of people in it.
You can
so
have,
that actually.
There it is. I think I said it too. The deception between Roderick Strong and Adam Cole is going to happen in that match. Maybe they both climb the ladder and they try to reach at the same time. And they're like, no, it's going to be my shot. No, it's going to be like, this creates the deception between those two.
That would be so good. Guys, if you can imagine it, it's just they get up the ladder and Adam Cole and Roderick Strong grab one side of the belt at the same time. And you're like, there's a sudden pause. That would be beautiful. So book it in. Book it in Kyle's idea. Bring back the ladder match from last year.
So
a whole bunch
Tiff
of people.
just put in the chat. She's correct. Our tickets, we got the special holographic tickets, which is really cool. I'm glad Tiff got that, and I'm super happy she got those for us because now I'm going to frame it when I bring it home. It says TakeOver New York on it.
Okay.
I imagine they wouldn't release a holographic thing like that if they weren't sure what the pay-per-view was going to be called. You know what I mean? Because people spend extra money for those holographic tickets. They wouldn't just do that and be like, oh, by the way, we're changing the name. So you can't have the holographic picture of the new name. It's going to be called TakeOver New York. So very, very, very interesting episode of NXT this week. Very good. Definitely a step up from last week.
Mm-hmm. I didn't like last week, so this was good. We
had a strong opening. We had the women's one was interesting, but it was not good, but it made sense for what we got this week. Like it tied the two promo. I love how they do that. They tie the promo and the match together. We get the announcement of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. We had the Unreal main event. So NXT, they keep it an hour. They keep it short. They keep it right to the point. They drive it home, and then it makes you wonder what's going to happen next week. It happens every single time. Every single episode of NXT, you wonder what's going to happen next week. There's never an episode on Raw or SmackDown where I'm sitting there going, I wonder what's happening next week. No, it's going to be like, how are they going to fucking ruin it next week?
I only had one con here. Where were the main roster guys, right? Since Vince called up for NXT guys, Why didn't NXT want more ratings? They sent 4 of the best main roster people over there. I'm talking Roman Reigns, John Cena. Who else is good?
Not there.
I don't know. 4
Not
more
there.
people. Send these 4 guys over to NXT. You know, the Vince effect, and there you go.
I think a 4 like that would probably be Rollins, Balor, Styles, Bryan. That's just my guess, because those are like to me that's the 4 best on the main roster right now. So yeah, very interesting. So NXT this week. Move on here to a quick. We're not gonna freaking talk about an hour about Elimination Chamber. We'll just quickly go over our picks and what we thought of each match really quickly.
Sure.
Like I said before, Michael almost had a clean sweep this week.
Dang, would have been 2 pay-per-views in a row, but
so close. 6 out of 7. I had a unbelievable score of 2 out of 7.
That's pretty good.
But the AEW effect won this pay-per-view. So they started out with the pre-show match of I missed this, to be honest. I totally forgot to go back and watch it. Buddy Murphy and Akira Tozawa, like anyone actually thought Tozawa was going to win, though.
I actually saw this. I think, man, the cruiserweights need to get off the pre-show. So good. Akira Tozawa is so good, buddy.
Yeah,
it was great. It was really, really good.
So they got actually a total of 13 minutes I have written down here, so that's pretty good. We both picked Buddy Murphy. We both got that pick right. Buddy Murphy retains. So yeah, they do need to get off the pre-show because it's sad. They remember when they made a big deal about 205 Live was going to get this big change. They introduced a GM. They put it on Tuesday nights right after SmackDown. Now it is after SmackDown, but they don't show it till Wednesday. And no. You guys want eyes on the right audience on 205 Live, not the casuals that stay or that go watch SmackDown, have no idea what's going on because they leave the building half the time anyways. Put it an hour before NXT. Do it in the same set of tapings. Add the extra hour. And they could easily do that. They can easily do that. It gives the people that go for the Full Sail tapings an extra thing. And maybe you do 2 days of tapings, or maybe you lessen the tapings. I feel like 205 Live would feel and get more appreciated with the Full Sail crowd for the amount of athleticism and the work they put in the ring. I feel it's so underappreciated from their slot right now. Very, very underappreciated. And I bring that up all the time. So
totally agree.
Next here, I'm just going to go in the order it has it here from Wikipedia. So it was the Tag Team Elimination Chamber Women's Tag Team Championship match, the inaugural match for the Women's Tag Team Championships. We had the Boston Hug Connection, Carmella and Naomi, which were named the Fabulous Glow.
By the way, just want to point out real fast, it's been a troublesome week for those two, and they were the first 2 eliminated from the match. Not saying that took a part in what happened, but
Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Nia Jax, Tamina, and the Iconics and the Right Squad. So, one thing I do want to point out here, which it's and I've heard it a lot of people's reviews, and I'm with them. I love the attention to detail. I'm a big stickler for that. I love that they put more focus on this tag team match. I was impressed for WWE to do that. Everyone kind of matched each other. I hate when they put tag teams together and they don't match. Like their attires don't match. They don't like they should be together. They made sure everyone matched this with this tag team championship match with like the Fabulous Glow, both coming out with that type of entrance and basically the same attire. Boston Hook Connection, obviously. Tamina and Nia, they speak for themselves. They don't even have to try because they're both Samoan. I love the new look of Sarah Logan. Less of that Amazonic look, but more like her War Raider husband now. And Liv Morgan is Liv Morgan. They just fit together because the Riot Squad, they're out there. It fits their personality. Obviously, the Iconics and Billie Kay are literally like twins. And then Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville actually look pretty good together as well. So I was actually impressed with this tag team match. I thought it was pretty good. I give credit to everyone in this match. One person that actually stands out to me, and it's not Bayley or Sasha because I know their work they put in the ring. One girl I feel has been actually impressive, Michael, it might throw you off, but from what I've seen, because I don't watch a lot of her matches, but from what the matches I've watched to now, Mandy Rose has actually been a little bit more impressive lately. The work she's putting into the ring, like from what I see, it looks like she's doing better. It's not better. It's not as good as I want it to be. It's better than what I've seen her do. I'm just going to leave it at that. So maybe she's training right now. Like maybe she's trying to get better in her craft in the ring, and I think it's showing a little bit. So
yeah,
we'll keep an eye on her.
She has been getting better, but guys, bear in mind, before she signed up for Tough Enough, she had no professional wrestling experience. She was basically like a fitness model.
So I think she's a work in progress kind of girl. Like, it's going to take her a while to get there, but as long as she's serious about it, I'll give her props. But to me, from what I've seen from her start to now, has been a little bit better.
But I must say, though, by the way, first and foremost, I love Mandy Rose. I am so in love with her. She's so freaking hot. But I do not agree with Mandy Rose beating Asuka this week. Asuka's been gone for 2 months. She wasn't even in the Elimination Chamber. She didn't even get a match. She's been gone for 2 months after beating Becky, the Royal Rumble winner, and she loses to Mandy freaking Rose. Clean.
Dude, I'm not shocked. Look what they've done to Asuka in the last year. I'm not shocked. This will tie into my rant later. Anyways,
they don't care about Asuka. It's obviously going to be Mandy Rose versus Asuka at Fastlane, but I do not know what's going to happen to her at WrestleMania. I don't know.
So they went interesting here. They went Boston Hug Connection over my pick of Nia Jax and Tamina, because I thought for sure, because the Samoan effect in WWE. Nope, they went with the AEW effect. They put the titles on Sasha and Bayley. I was interested. This is what the right move was. I'm not hating this, because I actually, before I made my picks, I wanted Sasha and Bayley to win. I thought that was the right decision, but I went with Nia Jax Tamina because I was putting myself in Vince McMahon's mind. I'm like, he's gonna give it to the Samoans, but I ended up being wrong. Michael chose right. He chose the Boston Hug Connection. They won.
Well, I feel like another reason why Sasha and Bayley won is because they did kind of confirm on Monday Night Raw. Bayley and Sasha said that this is going to be a cross brand, and they said that they will go to NXT. And I don't know if this spoils anything, because they said on Monday Night Raw that they would, and I can now confirm that Sasha and Bayley has appeared on NXT and NXT TV taping.
Like,
so I don't think
a live event or a TV taping.
From what I heard, a TV taping. So they've actually now confirmed what they said on Monday Night Raw. I would have guessed
live event. I would have been like, they're probably going to show up at a live event in some big town and do something. But if it's a TV taping, that'll be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, so
that gets me thinking Io Shirai and or
Kairi Sane. Yep.
They do another horsewoman thing. They make another step towards that, which I'm sitting here going, when are they going to do this then? When are they going to do this? Because all signs are pointing towards Ronda leaving. If she's leaving. I don't even know if those are true. We don't even know if Ronda's actually leaving. I don't know if that was I don't think that. I think what if that was just a ploy to stir the pot? What if that was unpurposely put through the leaks to get people to start hating Ronda?
So here's the thing. Dave Meltzer said that she was going to leave at the WrestleMania, all right? But he's Rumor Mania. WWE, the same day that Dave Meltzer said that, they released an article on WWE.com saying that she is signed up until 2021. However, just because she's signed to a 3-year contract doesn't mean she has to appear. If Ronda Rousey, she has that much of power. If she says, I want to take some time off after WrestleMania, they're not going to say no. All right, this isn't like a lower card talent saying I want to take some time off, and they say, nope, you got to perform. So Ronda Rousey, she may be taking some time off per se. Doesn't mean she's leaving permanently. But WWE.com confirmed she has a 3-year contract. So whatever that means. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. AEW effect. Oh, God. No. I picked Finn Balor, and I perfectly predicted that Leo Rush would be the one to get pinned. And real quick, I just want to bring up the fact that since Leo Rush took the pin and he lost the belt to Lashley, Lashley attacked Leo Rush after the match. However, on Monday Night Raw, WWE Amnesia, they were tag teaming together again like nothing happened, okay? Lashley beat up Leo Rush, and then all of a sudden they're in a random tag team match against Finn Balor and Ricochet. So MIB Flash, everyone ignore what happened because Vince doesn't care what you guys think. So
stress.
Logic.
So we also had Ronda Rousey and Ruby Riott in the leading candidate for the 29 Slammies for job match of the year. In a minute 40, Ronda Rousey beat Ruby Riott. I went the outlandish pick and picked Ruby Riott. You picked Ronda, and you won that one. So I really don't give a fuck about that match. Cool. Charlotte was on ringside. We had the interference by Becky because, I thought she was suspended, and no security guard actually made an attempt to stop Becky Lynch until after when she got arrested. They're like copying Stone Cold here, and I'm like, come on, you really can't think of anything different here.
But I'm pretty sure you've seen the picture comparison of Stone Cold when he was arrested. Here's the thing, and I had to take a double take. Becky was putting her hands around her back as though she was being cuffed, right? But I never saw security put cuffs on her. And as though I was looking, there were no cuffs on Becky Lynch. Why was she putting her hands behind her back like she was cuffed? I have no idea. They obviously wanted to get that picture of Becky Lynch like she was being Stone Cold Steve Austin arrested.
Right.
They want to get that image out. But yeah, this segment, it's whatever. I love Becky, but I thought it was whatever, to be honest.
Another stressful thing. Anyways, Baron Corbin, speaking of stress, Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman had no disqualification match. He had help. The only reason Strowman, I was only picking Strowman because I thought this would be finally where we can turn stuff around with Strowman. And I said it in the predictions. If Strowman loses this match, he's officially buried. He's been officially buried. They closed the casket in this match. Baron Corbin defeated Braun Strowman. You got that pick right, even though I don't think you were happy with that pick. But Corbin won. Who cares? Who gives a shit?
I booked it saying that Bray Wyatt was going to make his return and then help him. But no, we got these two other goons. Lashley, who just lost his title. Baron Corbin is no longer the GM. Why are they helping this guy? I don't understand. This was stupid. I didn't like it. Stop the feud here. Except they had another match on Monday Night Raw.
And then
BS garbage.
Now the highlight of the whole thing. This was actually a really, really well done match. Some creative decisions I think could have been changed a little bit with the eliminations, but Daniel Bryan ended up winning this Elimination Chamber WWE Championship match, but obviously we give full props to Kofi Kingston on the work he put into this match. This is probably like this is going to go down as one of his greatest matches of all time for Kofi Kingston because his showing this match was amazing. The guy still can rock it, and guy should be after this should be pushed towards the singles run, man. The guy literally is being held back so much in New Day after showing this, and you know what? Give this guy a singles feud because he is just way too good. And for that have that type of showing, and it helped them this week. They gave him a WWE Championship match
at Fastlane.
So
Fastlane, not Kofi Mania. I'm sorry.
Don't think he's gonna win, but they're giving him at least a championship match, which is sure. I think that's just like it's a thank you gift, like for your hard work. Here we're gonna give you a championship match because you had a good showing, and I think it'll be another good match, but. Don't be surprised if what we thought was going to happen this pay-per-view happens at that pay-per-view where it's either Eric Rowan or he has another third crony appear and help him win this match. But yeah, a lot of people were asking for Kofi's Mania match, Kofi Mania. I think it's a little bit too far, guys.
Yeah, it is.
It's a little bit too far.
I completely agree with you. Here's the thing. I like Kofi, and I've liked Kofi for a long time. I know how good he is. I really do. But the thing is, just because he had a great showing of stuff we've already seen in one match, let's not be like Kofi Mania. You know what I mean? Because I'm just saying that I would say
down, boys.
He took the place of Mustafa Ali, and I guarantee you Mustafa Ali is just a hard worker as Kofi, and he would have put on the exact great performance that Kofi would have done in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
You would have said Mustafa Mania, I guarantee you. So no matter who,
or Ali Mania or Mustafa
Ali
Mustafa Mania,
Muhammad Ali. But yeah, the thing is like
Mustafa
anyone they would have
Mania.
put, whoever they would have put in that spot. And by the way, I love Kofi. I'm not trying to put him down, but whoever they gave that spot to, everyone in WWE is such hard working, but they don't give them a chance. No one a chance to shine because WWE has their picks on. This is the main guy we want to push. Everyone else takes a back seat. Right. if I heard, and we're going to get to this in a bit, if I heard that Ty Dillinger wanted to leave, and I said, okay, don't leave, we will give you Mustafa Ali's spot in the Elimination Chamber. And not only that, we're going to give you a huge showing in the Gauntlet. We're going to give you the same thing we gave Kofi. You're going to be the last one in the chamber with Daniel Bryan. Guarantee you, Ty Dillinger would have put up the exact same best performance as Kofi, and people would be going 10 Mania.
Yep.
10 for Mania, and I would have been perfectly fine. In fact, I would have loved to have seen Ty Dillinger versus Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. So that would have been good, but we'll talk about what they decided to do later on with Ty Dillinger, or what he decided to do on his own.
So now we're getting to the fan tweets before we get to the end segment of the show. So you guys want to tweet in the show, all you have to do is, it doesn't have to be on the day of the show. It can be throughout the week. If you're ever thinking of a question that you want to bring up, could be watching Raw or SmackDown and want to hear our opinions on it, all you have to do is put the hashtag #AskTheNext, NEXT, in your tweet, and then we'll read your question or thought on the show and give you our opinions on it. So we have just 3 tweets today from Datila.
Hold on. Sorry to cut you off. I'm looking at the live chat. I think there's problems with your mic because we got Tiffany and Datila saying they can't hear you. I assume you, because they say your mic.
I thought they told me that they can hear me now. Yeah, they said you says you're good now. I think we're good.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Don't worry. I blew it.
I
blew it already. That's gonna be featured next week. I had my mic on mute because I was sneezing. Anyways, so we have Datila tweeting to the show. Thank you for your tweet. She puts, there's a noticeable difference between Raw crowd and SmackDown crowd. No shit. The Raw crowd was dead. Yes, it was fucking dead. Kofi put on one hell of a match against Daniel Bryan. I think WWE will screw this up by not giving the title to Kofi at Fastlane. I don't think he needs the title. I don't think right now. A lot of people are riding the train of giving him a WWE Championship. Yeah, it'd be cool, but no, because he has one good match doesn't mean he gets the WWE Championship. Absolutely. You have to look at it from the outside. You can't let a good match blind you from what you have to put prestige into this. The WWE Championship goes to a deserving superstar. Yeah, Kofi had a good match. Doesn't instantly mean deserving championship opportunity. So I think he's got to work his way into that. And for the fact that he's had one good showing in one match doesn't mean he doesn't constitute as WWE Championship. There's lots of other superstars that are ahead of him, I think, in that ranking system.
Yeah, guys, there was one year where in the Elimination Chamber, Santino Marella was the last person in the chamber, and I think it was against
coincidentally enough, it was against Daniel Bryan.
Exactly.
And he almost won.
Do I think Santino should go to WrestleMania? No. But that sounds harsh. Guys, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But if you guys look at any match Kofi has had before he joined the New Day, he's just as good. I'm just saying, just because he had a good showing this time doesn't mean he should automatically get shot up to the moon. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and with all these call-ups, I don't think it's going to happen, guys. No. Sorry. So we'll get to that in a bit, but yeah.
So, and then she puts, I love the Dream and Gargano match. I mean, holy shit, that match was incredible. Yes, that match was amazing. That's already down for, I guess, even if we don't count TakeOver, that's down for NXT Match of the Year so far. So that's pretty good. So good for them two for putting on a stellar performance. And thank you for your tweets, Datila. And guys, again, like I said, if you guys want to tweet into the show, hashtag AskTheNext is what you need to do is put into your tweets. Now, before we get into the end segment of the show, let me take a sip of water because I'm going to need this.
Yes, me too. Hold up.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. I said earlier in the week, you're going to want to tune into the show. And I'm probably going to have to clip this and put it on Twitter for you guys that didn't want to watch the whole. A lot of people want to skip through just to hear stuff. So I have about a page and a half of a rant here about what this week. If you are new and you don't know and you're living under a rock and you don't know what happened this week, WWE, or let me put it this way, Vince McMahon decided to call up with 2 hours before the show on Raw, decided to call up 4 of the main guys in NXT to the main roster. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black, and Ricochet. People could argue Ricochet is not one of the top. I would argue with you that he is at least one of the top 10 superstars, not even top 5 superstars in NXT currently. Wrong time, wrong place. a.k.a. Monday Night Raw, with one of the worst crowds to date, Lafayette, Louisiana. Give your heads a shake. Why would they choose this city out of all places? You know where you're going the next couple of weeks. You know where what cities are going to be. Don't think that the production team and people don't know what cities would generate a good reaction and won't generate a good reaction. Why would they pick Lafayette? There's reasoning why they pick. This is just my theorizing of why I think they chose Lafayette, Louisiana to debut these guys. There was no hype. There was no build-up. There was no nothing. They just simply had graphics made. These guys are coming on today's show. And they did that in front of a crowd with Triple H announcing it. For Triple H, the balls they had to make Triple H go out and do that in front of this crowd. That just shows you the balls Mr. McMahon has for him to do that. And to introduce 4 of these guys in a crowd that probably don't even fucking know that NXT is a part of the WWE.
By the way, Triple H had to do it. Vince doesn't know these guys. Triple H had to do it. Vince doesn't know who these guys are. So
this was embarrassing. How do you think the NXT calls that just got called up are feeling right now? Huh? How do you think they're feeling seeing this? I'm talking about Lacey Evans. I'm talking about Heavy Machinery. I'm talking about Nikki Cross. I'm talking about EC3 and Lars Sullivan.
Forget Lars Sullivan. No, he doesn't deserve it. He hasn't even
We don't know. There's no update with him. We don't know where he is. But how do you think these people are feeling? We have Lacey Evans who just comes to the ring and then leaves. You have Heavy Machinery acting like the Bushwhackers for whatever fucking reason. You have EC3 who's pretty much DOA right now. Done. He's got nothing. He's like 1-4 already. He's dead on arrival. He's gone. He's done. You might as well erase EC3. I don't know what the reason for burying this guy off the bat is. You have Nikki Cross, who's literally just sitting back. I want to play. I want to play with Nikki. Play with Nikki. What are you guys doing? And you expect me to sit here and be hype for the 4 main guys to come up to the main roster? Give me a fucking break.
Hold on, Kyle. Hold on. If I could bridge into our next discussion here, may I represent some or half of the Twitter of fans? Wait a minute, Kyle. Those matches were great. Why can't you enjoy the show for what it is? Don't you want the NXT stars to do good? You're an NXT show, aren't you?
What
by the way,
good show?
I don't know who I'm imitating, by the way, but yeah.
What great show? Raw has been the absolute garbage show it's ever been in its entire existence. The ratings clearly show it. They were the lowest. We've been getting the lowest ratings in its entire fucking history of Monday Night Raw. The writings they have, Vince McMahon pays a writing staff of over 30 people to come up with shit, and they produce garbage. Why does it take 30 people to produce rinse and repeat crap? That doesn't make any sense. Clearly, this shows that the main roster, and including Vince McMahon, have no idea what to do with talent when it is handed to them, and it shows what they did with them on Monday Night Raw. You had DIY together for whatever fucking reason. Okay, I know what the whole thing with NXT and them two being, Johnny's finding an eviler side to him. But for them to get called up as DIY because that's what they know them for, that clearly shows that they don't watch NXT. That clearly shows that they watch NXT once in a while, and I guarantee you the last time they watched NXT, DIY was a tag team. That's why they put them together. That was the wrong decision in my books. Ricochet, you had him come out to save Finn Balor from Bobby Lashley? Do you know the original plans were for Finn Balor and Ricochet to face each other on Monday Night Raw?
Well, that's what Vince wanted.
Unfucking believable. And then you had Aleister Black face Elias. What the fuck? What the fuck? And the people out there that are still accepting this mediocre garbage television makes me laugh. You people that accept this are one of the problems with why this product is actually garbage and why I only watch NXT anymore. I don't hate. I don't want to not watch Raw. I used to watch Raw regularly. I would love it. The original part of the show was reviewing Raw and SmackDown. That stopped because of how garbage it became. I couldn't review garbage anymore. Just coming here on the podcast every single week, saying the same goddamn crap that I've been seeing every single week. Why would I want to do that? Lost me interest.
I totally agree with you. Guys, I'm just like Kyle. I used to watch Raw and SmackDown religiously. In fact, I have several of VHS tapes in my garage of recorded Raw and SmackDown episodes, which, by the way, I kind of just played on my VCR the other day. I recorded the entire Invasion storyline, which was great. But anyway, there was a point in about 2005, 2006 where I stopped watching Raw and SmackDown. And the reason for that is because I had just graduated from high school and I was just barely at home. I was out with my friends all the time. That was a choice, okay? I just said I didn't have time for Raw and SmackDown. As of a couple of years ago, I have actually gone out of my way to stop watching Raw and SmackDown. And it's not because I don't have the time. I definitely have the time now. It's because it's so bad. I've never done this before where I'm like, this show's so bad, I'm not even going to watch it. And it's bad. And if you're Vince, this is why he had to randomly bring up NXT.
This is mainly Vince McMahon's fault. This also exposed Vince McMahon as well. He cannot provide a good show when he has to dig like this he has to dig in the cookie jar and pull talent that are succeeding to put on his show. He cannot. This shows he cannot book a show anymore without having to do this kind of crap he did this week. He was exposed for clearly showing that he does not watch NXT at all. He is no longer needed in this company. He needs to go. And he needs to just stick what he's done, what he does doing best, Michael, and as the business side of the company only. He needs to get away from anything creative. Like he needs to get away from creative. Anywhere that's the creative department, he needs to get away with producing a show. He needs to get away from that. Gone. Vince McMahon cannot do it anymore. This clearly shows he can't do anything. This was an insult to what Triple H has been building for the most of 2 years with these call-ups. With most of them. Maybe not Ricochet or Aleister Black for a year and a half, but with Johnny Gargano and Ciampa, what they've done for the last 2 years, carrying this brand on their backs, making it better every single year, this was a slap in the face to Triple H. The mentality of NXT call-up, this NXT call-up mentality has got to stop. That you when you get called up from NXT, that you have to start from the bottom. That's got to fucking stop. The fact that you get called up from NXT, from main roster or main event in NXT to bottom of the barrel and main roster, that's got to fucking stop. You can't take a guy like Tommaso Ciampa, what he's fucking done to his character and the brand of NXT, to having to start from the bottom in the tag team division on the main roster. Done. And that not only goes just for him. You look at other people on the main roster. Bobby Roode. What the fuck has he done since getting called up? He went from main roster of NXT to bottom of the barrel. He has to. This mentality that they have to build your way up. That's the Vince McMahon mentality. That's got to fucking stop. That's also an embarrassment. And there's people out there that agree with this, which drives me fucking nuts.
So, by the way, I want to bring up something real fast. So, there's a lot of speculation on why Vince did it, and I can't confirm this is true, but Dave Meltzer, once again, guy, Rumor Mania, you take it with a grain of salt. He said the reason why Vince McMahon brought up these 4 stars is because Vince believes that the current superstars he has already right now on the brand, that the character and gimmicks are stale, and he has no choice.
And whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
Yes, but then here's the thing. You have superstars like Bobby Roode, where the fans still sing along to his theme music. You have superstars like Rusev and Aiden English, who got over by themselves. Vince McMahon split them up. You have Breezango, who did the Fashion Files, one of the most watched things. People tuned into SmackDown just to see the segment, but because Vince didn't get the comedy and because he didn't get the jokes, he put an end to it. Vince McMahon is the reason why there's no more Fashion Files, because he didn't understand the jokes and because he didn't like it. But it was so popular with the fans. These are what the shows are for. Now, for Vince McMahon to say that these characters are stale and I can't use them anymore, who are you catering to when the fans love these characters and you're basically saying, I don't want these characters anymore. No more Fashion Files. No more Rusev Day. Glorious Bobby Roode, put him in a tag team. I'm not understanding any of this at all when he says these characters are stale.
It's the Vince McMahon stamp. If he didn't create it, it doesn't work. It doesn't fly in his boat. You can go on with all this bullshit of coming out and saying, oh, new era here. We're going to listen to the fans. Don't fucking kid yourself. It's never going to happen. This clearly shows it's Vince McMahon's way or the highway. Bottom line, there's no ifs, ands, or buts after that. It's what Vince McMahon wants. If he feels personally it doesn't work in his mind, it doesn't fly by anyone else's mind. The ass-kissing yes men backstage will all agree with him, and that's how shit gets done in the company. And if you don't believe me, you are blind.
Here's the thing, guys. Me and Kyle, we respect everyone's opinion. But when I'm seeing on social media, and once again, I respect your opinion of the people who go, why are you guys ranting about Raw and SmackDown? It was good. Shouldn't you be happy for NXT? Here's the thing. It built toward nowhere. They're taking these NXT superstars. And by the way, from what I see in the live chat, they're going to be back next week. And the rumors I'm hearing is those 4 NXT guys will be performing on Raw, SmackDown, NXT moving forward. Now, here's the thing. If you continue to build these hype matches where it doesn't build toward anything, then what is this, a live event? Here's the thing. I would compare the product that we had got last week and what's going moving forward to the Transformer movies. Here's the thing, guys. The Transformer movies. All these huge explosions, all this action of the robots fighting, right? That's great. But when you have these movies where the storyline absolutely sucks, you're only watching these Transformer movies to see these giant explosions and these cool effects and all of these cool things that happen. But the storylines are absolutely horrible. Okay, once again, I respect everyone's opinion.
I'm sorry, but that's the casual thinking of way of if you're comparing that to professional wrestling, that's a casual way of thinking it.
Oh my gosh. And by the way, the people, okay, here's the thing. That might have been a shit crowd on Monday Night Raw. But you have to understand this. Most of the people who watch Raw and SmackDown do not watch NXT. I know so. I didn't watch NXT up until last year.
And that's okay? The problem too. The people want to blame the NXT people for that? They were giving the same reaction to the main roster people.
They don't know who these guys are. And you can't just go on the show and say Triple H and says, oh, by the way, here are 4 guys you've never seen before. Here's a quick promo vintage, and now you'll instantly know who they are. That's the bad booking. That's bad booking. And these fans, why the fans were dead is because, number 1, the city that they were in. And number 2, they don't know who these people are. These are strangers to them. Okay? And this was the Monday Night Raw after a major pay-per-view. So these people are expecting stuff to be built toward Fastlane. These people are looking for fallouts. And what they got on Monday Night Raw were repeated matches from about 24 hours ago and these 4 strangers who they've never seen before, which is building toward no storyline.
But Raw's great, right? Raw's good. We should accept it for what it is. We should stop complaining and just watch.
It's a good match, but no storyline. Guys, I need more than that. This is a guy who's been watching wrestling for over 25 years. I need something where if matches are just plain good, then that's good. But I need storyline. I need the whole package, guys. And I know that's a lot to ask. But the fact that Vince McMahon has all these writers and nothing's happening, I mean, you should not be calling up these superstars. You should be firing your writers, or at least take some writers from NXT. All right, Vince, go to XFL. Go to XFL.
Tired of the mentality of Vince McMahon and others that look down to NXT, that look down as NXT and its roster as the underbrand, the low end brand, the talent that needs to get work done before they come out to the main roster. That mentality has got to fucking stop dead in its tracks. And you want to know what? If you don't believe me, it showed. You want to look back at it? Perfect example. SmackDown this week. What the fuck did they make the Bar do to Gargano and Ciampa? They threw shade at Gargano and Ciampa, acting like they were beneath them and they're nothing. They've done zero anything in their career. When's the last time you can tell me the bar match had a 5-star match or had a pay-per-view match that won match of the year as a match of the year candidate? I'll wait. You fucking tell me, I'll wait. Gargano and Ciampa to date have the greatest tag team match ever put on in WWE at NXT TakeOver Chicago. They are also in match of the year candidates maybe 4 or 5 or 6 times last year. Where was the Bar? This just shows you the mentality, the fucking mentality of Vince McMahon and the people who look down at NXT and think, no, that's not going to fly in our books. You're beneath us. We're above you. We do stuff better than you guys. I hate that fucking mentality. And people that call us the NXT ass kissers. NXT has been better than whatever Raw and SmackDown put on in the last 5 years. Give me a fucking break. The people on Twitter that sit there and say, oh, the NXT people get no reaction on Raw. They got nothing. The people weren't even interested in it. They weren't interested in anything the main roster put on that show. Nothing. When Triple H came out, when Sasha and Bayley came out to talk about their NXT tag titles, they were crickets. Don't tell me it was just because of the NXT people and that they didn't know who they were because they don't watch NXT. They were quiet throughout the entire fucking show. That was WWE's wrongdoing in going to Lafayette, Louisiana, and trying to do something like that in that city. The people who sit there and criticize the way NXT wrestling is, that also drives me fucking nuts. Like the way we wrestle down here, the way that's different than the main roster. You better wake up and smell the coffee. I'm talking to people who don't like the way NXT wrestling is and like the way the WWE does their fucking shit. All your wrestlers today, your John Cena's, your Undertakers, your Roman Reigns, they're not going to be here forever. Your types of wrestlers that can't do the way wrestling is transitioning to nowadays, they're not going to be here forever, and their days are winding down. So you either better fucking, like, wrestling is changing. So you either fucking adapt or you don't watch anymore. And it's funny now that the shoe's on the other foot. We're telling you not to watch anymore. Wasn't it not about a year ago? It was you people telling us, if you don't like it, don't watch anymore. How about this? You don't like the way wrestling is changing? Don't watch anymore. Fucking go back to the WWE Network that you're paying for. Go watch your fucking glory days and sit there and watch it on repeat because wrestling is changing. And again, you don't adapt, you're gonna fall behind, and it's gonna be over. You're not gonna adapt with it. Don't watch. Exactly. Don't watch. Don't fucking watch this shit anymore. And the excuse is, oh, well, they're making money doing this. They're gonna make the same amount of money, if not more, with the transition to this new wrestling and to what NXT is doing. Don't sit there and give me this fucking finance garbage of they're going to lose money. They're making money now. They're making the most money they've ever been. They'll make that same money, if not more, because you're going to gain the audience that appreciates that wrestling tuning in more. Your ratings will go up. Your prices will go up because people will actually attend your goddamn shows that you like to black out every single time and not make mention of it. Okay, this gets shown all the way through Twitter all the time. Every time there's a SmackDown, every time there's a Raw, there's a live event, there's blacked out seats everywhere. I was at the Royal Rumble, there was blacked out seats. Okay? Don't sit there and tell me that they wouldn't make the same amount of money with the way wrestling is going today. Who cares? They will make the same amount of money regardless. Well, who knows? Again, potentially more. They're going to get more of that audience to tune in. Unfucking believable. How do people defend this, Michael? How do people sit there? Raw constantly gets rebooked every single Raw. The news comes out. Raw gets rebooked on the fly. How does that constitute as a good wrestling show when it gets rebooked on the fly? It's mostly rinse and repeat garbage. Vince pays 30-plus individuals to write the show, but that gets constantly rewritten because, again, it's the Vince McMahon mentality that it's his way or the highway. He pays 30 writers to write something, but no, Vince McMahon says he doesn't like it. Change it. Why do you pay 30-plus writers then? Nothing seems to make sense anymore character-wise with a lot of main roster product. They have belittled everybody's intelligence by making someone heel one week and transitioning him to a babyface the next week and then back to heel the week after, a.k.a., so Bobby Lashley attacks Lio Rush and literally a day later they're back to being best friends, or like we just spoke about, Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss, best friends and on and off every single goddamn week, and you can even go back to as far as Mickie James. We want to listen to the fans now? Give me a fucking break. That's never, ever going to fly by me, and that'll never fly by you guys. And if you sit there and think that it's going to fly, again, you're what's wrong with this fucking product. You're what's wrong with why wrestling is shit and why their main show is actually a pile of dog shit. How can Vince McMahon not be excited for the NXT call-ups? How can he not be excited by watching NXT and seeing that TakeOver surpass the main pay-per-views? How can you not be excited for that? That's your future. He wants to sit there and say there's no superstars. It is your fault because you don't adapt what NXT is doing and showing. You bring that up to the main roster, you'll have a good wrestling show. Why does he need to feel so high and mighty that he needs to treat everything like, oh, well, if I didn't create it, I don't like it. It's going to change. It's fucking ridiculous.
Woo-wee!
I'm sorry. This is how I feel, and I laugh at the people, Michael, who say and call me an indie mark or an NXT mark. That's the best part when they call us indie and NXT marks, Michael. Just to all you people out there, let me give you a short list here. AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, Mustafa Ali, Bobby Roode, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Andrade Cien Almas, Cesaro, The Club, Asuka, all came from the Indies and NXT. Don't sit there and call me an indie or fucking NXT mark about all these NXT call-ups when all the people that you love and think put on a good product right now are all from the same goddamn place. I hate the word indie mark or NXT mark. They're what make WWE today. They make up 90% of their fucking roster. Where do you think they got those talent? The indies. Where do you think a lot of these talents got better and got known? NXT. They're the reason. They're all the same. They all come from the same goddamn place. And here's the analogy, Michael. Vince McMahon is like a child. He's like a child. He's got a little playroom. He's got his little toy area. He gets so many toys thrown at him, and then he gets bored with them. You know what? He wants all the toys on his area, which is Raw and SmackDown. He gets all these toys. He gets all these toys in front of him, and then, oh, you know what? I'm bored. You know what? I think I can have better toys. So he gets new toys. What happens to those old toys? They sit there. They do fuck all. They gain dust while new toys keep coming in and piling up and piling up. And what eventually happens to those new toys? They get thrown out, a.k.a. they ask for their release. They don't do anything, and they eventually wait for their contracts to expire. That's the analogy, Michael. Vince McMahon is a fucking child with toys with his main roster people.
If I could add to that story, I would love to add the fact that everything that Kyle just said, but let's say you have a friend who comes over and he goes, I'm a little bit bored playing with these toys every day the same way. Can we take these toys, but then play it like in a different way? And Vince goes, no, I want to play with these toys this way. And I don't want to take any type of feedback on playing with these toys some different way. And I just want to bring up, it doesn't matter, taking Kyle's good example right here, it doesn't matter how many toys you bring in. Unless you change something, if you want the toys, that's fine. Change the way you play with the toys. Because if you have the exact same way of playing with the toys, it's going to be boring. It's not. The ratings will drop down, which doesn't make sense to the story.
Here comes a bombshell out of it. There's multiple reports believe again that we said that Vince McMahon thinks there's not one superstar out there, meaning there's not that one special toy. Well, maybe if you weren't trying to push one fucking guy for the last 5 years, you would have superstars at this point. Maybe if you weren't just playing with that one toy for the last 5 years, you would have many good toys.
By the way, I just want to say for the record, it's very sad that it seems like all of these NXT call-ups, all this desperate maneuvers is because of the one person that Vince believes is the greatest superstar you should be watching and should be pushed to the top is not here. And he feels like, you know what? Now that this guy is not here, no one else will take his place. No one else will be the top star. I'm just going to keep on calling people up because there's no other great stars here.
And you don't believe us? You should look at the news that came out of today. Roman Reigns is set to come on Monday Night Raw. And there's being reports saying that Vince McMahon is doing this to push him for a WrestleMania match.
But
give me a fucking break. He never learns. You guys that are main roster kiss-assers, good luck with your fucking main roster trash. I feel bad for the NXT call-ups that are being called up now. They will never get used properly, and they're the 4 greatest talents that NXT's produced in a long fucking time. And now with the other report that Vince McMahon, this made me sick, Michael, reportedly wants to prove Triple H wrong with these top superstars. Basically saying, of the Oh You Didn't Know podcast with Brad Shepard, he reported that Vince McMahon has an interesting strategy when it comes to the new NXT stars. He wants to throw them in the deep end if they will and see if they will swim. This is due to the longing to prove his son-in-law wrong. This is, quote, I was told that there is a weird dynamic at play when Triple H hypes a guy and Vince tries to prove him wrong. In this case, Vince wanted to put the NXT call-ups in the hole and test them to see if they could climb out of it. So if this is a metaphorical Vince, throwing him in the deep end of a swimming pool and seeing if they'll come up for air. Are you fucking kidding me? So this plays into the fact that they purposely went to Lafayette, Louisiana, because they knew they were going to get the type of reaction they were going to get, threw them out there, and they got the reaction they got, and he went up to Triple H, and I bet you went, oh, well, they didn't get a good reaction to your NXT boys. Give me a fucking break. That is disgusting.
I have a way that they can do this. Vince is not going to do it because it's massive ego. This is what they should do. Because since four the call-ups are now going to appear on both Raw and SmackDown and NXT, what you should do is let Triple H have full control, book their storylines. No, here's the thing, though. I have to be completely fair to Vince. Let Vince run Monday Night Raw.
You don't need to be fair to Vince at all.
But I will, because this is the only way that could prove Vince's logic, okay? Let Vince run Monday Night Raw with the 4 call-ups. But let Triple H have full control of SmackDown. Let Triple H be behind everything, plan out the storyline for these guys, and I guarantee you, based off the ratings, we'll see which show is better. Let Triple H have full control of SmackDown. Let Vince have full control of Raw, but have them have use to the 4 NXT call-ups, and we'll see what Triple H has planned for the 4 call-ups on SmackDown. We'll see what Vince has planned for the 4 NXT call-ups on Raw, which is not much, because look at freaking Lacey Evans, EC3, and all those other guys.
I don't have faith anymore. I am so scared for anybody. Like, we said it before on this show, Michael, well, we're scared of any call-ups. I'm scared of anything now. I don't want anybody to get called up because they won't ever get used properly. I have no faith. There's no faith anymore that they're going to produce anything right. They're not going to. We have to stop kidding ourselves at this point that if Vince McMahon is still around, nothing will change. They lie to our faces when they say that there's going to be change, that we're listening to the fans, we're doing this, we're doing that. No, it's never going to happen. Don't kid ourselves. It's over. Anything when it gets called up at this point, good luck with your future endeavors, and we just hope you make it out alive. I can't.
Now they don't. I mean, now they don't need to. I mean, if we could bridge into our next conversation about the recent releases, I have never seen so many people want to leave the WWE. It was unheard of because WWE was the main place to be, right? It was the main promotion. It's the place where people want to retire because you could probably have a job in the backstage area. I've never seen so many people say, you know what? Give me my release. Okay, I will not enjoy just sitting at home and just waiting for me to get paid. Money's not everything. And now people are asking for the releases. All right, Hideo Itami, Dean Ambrose, okay, Ty Dillinger, TJP, which, by the way, he did not ask for his release. WWE decided to let him go, which a little bit confused here. First ever Cruiserweight champion in the new era, first Cruiserweight Open winner. And we rumor going around they released him because of his tattoos. But what are they doing here? Everyone on 205 Live, you released TJP? Well, I've never seen so many people want to leave. Kyle, what's your opinions? These people who want to leave and who have been granted their release.
Ty Dillinger, understand. Hideo Itami wasn't being used at all. TJP is just a weird one. With the report, I don't know if it's true or not. I can't really sit here and speculate. But with the reports that it's because of his tattoo, that's just weird to me. I don't know. Good for them though. You know what? If they were, this goes back to my analogy of the toys, Michael. They're the toys that sit there, have been collecting dust because he doesn't like them anymore. He doesn't know what to do with them because he has too many toys. So they're stuck there, not doing anything. So, good. I'm glad that they asked for the release, and I'm glad they're gone. They're gonna go on to do probably better things. Maybe even go as far as like a Cody Rhodes. Look at Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes was in a shitty Stardust character that really was going nowhere, and look what they did. He's gone on and to make massive amounts of money with AEW, and you know what, Michael? I'm happy for everyone that's asked for the release and has been granted the release. I can't sit here and disagree with any of it.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, and by the way, just real fast, I want to talk about the whole Roman thing next week. Guys, he's not – I can guarantee you. In fact, right now, I will bet another prize giveaway. I already have a bet on the line, a signatured autographed Becky picture saying that if Charlotte and Becky does not double team Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, then that will be a prize giveaway up for grabs. I will bet another prize giveaway right now that Roman Reigns will not be in a official wrestling match at WrestleMania. And I mean a match where he actually does stuff. I do not want him in a tag team match where he's just in the match and nothing ever happens. But I can tell you right now, guys, if this is legitimate, because I want to believe it. It would be the worst thing in the whole world if this was a made-up storyline and Roman does not have leukemia. But here's the thing. Anyone who's ever had leukemia or cancer, all right, because my mom is actually a cancer survivor. You have to go through chemo, and you're like at your weakest point, all right? Roman is not going to be ready by WrestleMania for a legitimate wrestling match. And there was a photo I seen today that a guy who owns a gym that Roman Reigns had visited in Hawaii when he was filming Fast and the Furious. He said that he met up with Reigns. He said it was an honor that he was there, but he said that Roman Reigns was really slow in the gym and that he does not expect Roman Reigns to be in any type of condition to get back in the ring anytime soon. Because
though, he's senile. I'm telling you right now.
He's doing this because he wants fans to tune in by saying, hey, Roman is going to be here on Monday Night Raw to give an update on his leukemia. You know, it's a good thing is Roman found it fast and he can get the help he needs. But if you think it's anything else than Roman saying, I'm going to be at WrestleMania in a legitimate match, he might say he'll be at WrestleMania. He might even said he'll Hulk Hogan host the shit. But he will not be in a match, and I'm betting a prize giveaway he will not. If he is in a physical match at WrestleMania, guys, this whole storyline's made up. Yep. I mean, I'm not trying to be messed up here, but dude, guys, my mom went through cancer and it's not pretty at all. And it's very, very tough and it's very long to recover from. All right. Even if you get out of mission. All right. So I take this very seriously and I hope this is not made up. But if he's going to be in a wrestling match at WrestleMania, I'm telling you, I think this is just a storyline because, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm all ranted out. I'm done because that was just, I need to get that off my chest, and I'm just telling you guys right now, don't expect anything to get better on the main roster. Things are all pointing in the direction of the same bullshit as ever, and Vince McMahon won't change. He won't change. It's his way or the highway, regardless of what we think, regardless of them teasing stuff. So, maybe things are going to change now. They're never going to change.
Exactly. I mean,
I want to adapt or perish. The main roster will continue to perish because it's not adapting with wrestling today.
Honestly, this can all be solved. You just got to get better writers, and you just need to have Vince just seriously simmer down. Because, guys, in the end, here's the thing. I believe, honestly, that the writers come out with several great ideas, but everything goes through Vince first. Okay, Vince gets the final okay, and if he doesn't like it, it doesn't go through. It really does. And most of the times he goes last resort, we'll just give them a match they saw last week. Again, no problem. Oh, problems? Cool. We'll tell Triple H to invite up another 4 NXT superstars. That will solve it for the week. This fresh start is not going to work. It's not.
Like
I know it's not going to work.
The mentality of NXT not being considered a third brand has to stop. Until that doesn't stop, nothing on the main roster will make sense anymore. They need to consider NXT as a third brand. None of this, it's only NXT to up. It's got to be a mix of all three. That's the only way it's going to help. That's the only way you're going to solve problems. So this is not going to work. I know it's not going to work because they called up 6 superstars back in January with this fresh start, did nothing with them. It saw none of their ratings. Saw their ratings for 1 week when they said a fresh start. But if you can't do anything with the 6 superstars called up in January, nothing's going to happen now. They're done. I'm so scared with these current calls.
They're done.
I'm so fucking terrified what they're going to do with them.
You know why it's DIY? I'll tell you right now, because Vince Logic, his tag team division sucks, and he needs DIY in there to make it credible. But I guarantee you, tag team division's still going to
sacrifice again. He sacrifices the logic of babyface, like back to my rant of babyface and heel. Tommaso Ciampa is being put as a babyface right now on the main roster. He's the biggest heel in the company. Why is he being pushed to babyface? Doesn't make sense. Anyways, again, I'm not ranting anymore. The show's gone on long enough. We've said what we need to do. We'll bring up some more stuff next week, but I'm just going to cut us right there, Michael. But before we end the show, I just want to let everyone know we are working on the I'm literally almost done working on the graphics. We got all our picks basically in. So you guys want to vote on the Slammy Awards, and I put the graphic up right now for you guys. The 5th annual NHBN Slammy Awards will be live on YouTube very soon. We're still working out on a date, but we got all the picks done. We have a special co-host for the show, so we're going to have 3 hosts on the show for the Slammy Awards. So it has an official Twitter, guys, at NHBN Slammies. To go on there, vote for the categories that are posted on there right now. One I'm just going to post right as soon as this is over with for the one today. So you guys want to go out and vote, and then all the results will be posted on the Slammy Awards show. But stay tuned. We're working on a date for you guys for the Slammy Awards. So, so just hold off on that while we transition and wait for that date to come out.
Make sure you guys vote. We release a poll one every single day, and you guys could actually break a tie, because how it is done is me and Kyle and the third special co-host that will come on, we get the categories and the awards, and we actually individually vote on it. Now, if all 3 of us, it has to be a majority vote. If we can't come to a majority vote where 3 of us come to a conclusion or the majority goes through, like for example, if Kyle picks a different answer, I pick a different answer, and the third co-host picks another answer, it will be decided down to the fan votes. So you guys can play a part in this voting. And also, guys, try and retweet. We're trying to make this a huge show. And I announced a long time ago that everyone who retweets the polls will be entered in an automatic entry into a prize giveaway we'll be doing at the Slammy Awards. And yeah, it's great prizes, guys. I'll come up with something, but we got great prizes going down. So make sure you retweet. If you're a silent listener, guys, go to the Twitter he just posted up. Check out the votes. I apologize
to you silent listeners that had to hear me rant there for the end of the show. So
they're probably like, this is the first time me listening to the show. I don't like it. Because I'm one of the casual watchers from Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Why are you ranting all the time?
I had to speak the truth. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to thank everybody for tuning in to us live here on YouTube, youtube.com/NHBWR. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/NHBWR. Hit the bell icon for all upload updates. Make sure you are following us on Twitter, TheNEXT Pod. Make sure you're following myself at Real Kyle Masters, at Michael Chow TV, and importantly, the network at NHBN Network on Twitter. Also, go listen to us on the go, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker, and Spotify. We're available everywhere for you guys, so go give us a follow on there. Everything is much appreciated. I am your host, as always, of The Lowdown Show. Thank you for joining into episode number 17, TakeOver Main Roster. I'm your host, as always, CEO of the main roster of No Holds Barred Network, Kyle Masters, always joined by my co-host. He is the host that runs the West Coast, Hollywood Michael Chow. And we're going to remind you, as always, maybe not like my rant, but to keep it on The Lowdown.
Tune in next week, NXT. Pew, 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 pew.